If you've had any type of issues with authority and you also can't seem to lose weight, it may be correlated. I kind of put those puzzle pieces together and realized, oh, when I'm hungry sometimes, I have an issue with authority. I don't like people telling me what to do. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to eat because that gives me freedom. I want to eat, so I'm going to eat. No one's going to tell me. It's an ignorance, right? But what I've realized is I can still be in control, but it has to be the me who created the plan to stay on track, not the me in the moment. Welcome back to the Jason Jacob Show. I'm your host, Jason Jacob, and today we're going to be talking about how to lose weight when you have no discipline. This is something that I struggled with and that I'm recently getting over. And for me in particular, I ended up having a lot of issues around authority. Let me tell you a story about my experience of Hell Week in high school. I had never played football in my life, and I decided I was going to sign up for the high school football team. The first day we put our pads on. I don't know if you've ever played football. Those pads are heavy, and it is tough to run in those things. I was already out of shape. So we put our pads on, we go out, we get an exercise where everyone jogs. We all jog in a lap. And the person from the back of the line has to sprint to the front of the line. And then we just keep going, keep going. Well, this is the first day with all my pads on. I can't even keep up with the back of the line. So I'm out of breath. I'm huffing and puffing. I'm trying to catch up. The line keeps getting further and further away from me. And someone's on the side of the grass right there. So I just go stand off to the side myself and really try to catch my breath. Well, the coach starts talking all this crap. Look at these guys off in the corner. I obviously hadn't done a lot of conditioning. The better thing to do might have been to encourage me. Hey, how about you just go take some laps, like slower, something. But instead he goes in on us. We're on the sideline. I've always had an issue with authority, and this day did not make my issue with authority any better. So I'm sitting on the sideline and he's just calling us all kind of names. And I'm like, why am I even here? I already had an attitude problem when I was young. Something clicked in my mind at that moment and I just decided this wasn't for me. So I took off for the locker room and he just looks at me, says something to me. And I remember flipping him off, to be honest. And I just kept walking. Now, remember, I'm in high school, right? I'm probably a junior in high school, sophomore, something like this. I'm expecting he's going to come into the locker room. We're going to have a talk. That's probably what I needed at that point in my life. But I got nothing. Silence. I took my gear off, left it in the locker room. I just left. And the word around campus was he was telling the other teammates not to be caught associating with me. This guy's 50 years old. He just had the wrong frame of mind. That's all I'm going to say about that. Instead of encouraging me, as a high school football coach, you would think your job is to motivate and inspire young men. But this guy did the opposite. And I remember feeling ostracized in school, at least for that rest of that year and throughout the rest of high school with those certain members of the football team. Not that it was that big of a deal, but it was definitely a point in time that, along with the issues I had already had with my parents, didn't make my issues with authority any better. And so if you've had any type of issues with authority and you also can't seem to lose weight, it may be correlated, because I kind of put those puzzle pieces together and realized, oh, when I'm hungry sometimes, I don't like people telling me what to do. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to eat because that gives me freedom. I want to eat, so I'm going to eat. No one's going to tell me. It's an ignorance, right? And so you might have that. And that might be giving you some type of dopamine hit or make you feel good in the moment because you get to just eat whatever you want to. And no one's going to tell you what to do. But what I've realized is I can still be in control, but it has to be the me who created the plan to stay on track, not the me in the moment. There's actually science behind making your prior self, the source of your dopamine. For example, if you just take $100 and put it in your winter coat and it's summertime, then when winter comes around, you put on your coat and you feel in your pocket, you remember, oh yeah, I put this in my pocket months ago. And you're happy because your prior self put that in there for you and you found it. You want to get dopamine from your prior version of yourself. You want to look back on your own self with pride and be proud of who you are, who you were, instead of what happens. The opposite happens when we eat bad, when we tell ourselves we're going to eat good, and then we go off track. I did it myself today. I wasn't 100% perfect, but I stayed on track for the most part, and I am now staying on track for the most part. And that's the other thing. You only need about 90% success rate. You don't need to be 100%. It's not about all or nothing. It's about actually finally sticking to a system. And if you have that authority issue mixed in with it, that's a really huge realization. You can still have control. You can keep the power, but make sure that it's the you who created this plan and said, I'm going to stick to this. That's the version of you want in charge. So it won't be the you in the moment. You should think about the you in the moment as like a little version of yourself, like the little me. And the one who created the plan, the person who sat down and said, this time is going to be different, this time I'm going to change, and who really meant it, that should be the version of you that you give control to. So you're still in control, you're still the authority, but it's not. In fact, it's more you than your current desire, which is fleeting in any moment, right? So, matter of fact, let me show you what it talks about here in terms of leveraging your past self for dopamine and why that's important. Leveraging your past self for dopamine involves engaging in effort-driven rewards, activities where you previously invested effort to achieve a goal, creating a lasting, sustainable dopamine release rather than a quick hit. To harness this, review past accomplishments. When you think into the past about things you've done that you're proud of, you feel good about that because it's attached to your identity. You actually look back and think about yourself positively, and then there's a loop that happens to where it's like this is why the baseline reset, go get my ebook. Like, go right now, it's free. Over 14 days you can change your life and reset your baseline because you're up here right now. You can come all the way down to here just for 14 days. And then boom, bump it up a little bit. And now this is your new normal that you'll actually still lose weight on. But because you reset your baseline, it now feels like you're overeating almost and you're still losing weight. But when your baseline is up here, you're going to feel like you're in a deficit if you just bring it down to here. That's why the baseline reset is so transformative. And there's a few different things you want to do, like bring your fats down to a certain level and make sure that you're not going above in carbs. You want a lot of protein, keeping yourself full through that entire time. But that's why it's so powerful, because what happens is you create a loop to where you now say, okay, look, for the last 10 days, for the last 2 weeks, I was able to do this hard thing. Every day that you do it, you look back and think, I was able to do that. I did that. And that feedback tells you, wow, I can do this. I can do hard things. I can stick to a sustainable weight loss plan successfully. It becomes just a small upgrade in your identity. But when you give yourself these tiny little micro adjustments over time, you now really believe, because you have real proof that you are this person who can sustain a difficult diet, who can do the hard thing even when you don't want to, who can put the planning version of yourself in the driver's seat instead of letting your little self win whenever you want to eat that cookie or whatever the thing is because you want it now. But in 10 minutes from now, let's say you want a cookie and you eat the cookie. You're going to be real happy for 5 minutes while you eat that cookie, and the whole rest of the day you're going to be upset. And that might even snowball into a bad week. But what happens when you want the cookie and you say no? Something amazing happens. You get the inverse effect of that. You actually are kind of upset for like 5 minutes because you didn't get to eat the cookie. But within 5 minutes, 15 minutes, you forget about it. And for the whole rest of the day, now you get to look back on your past version of yourself who actually said no, who held the line, who put his planning self in authority, and you're able to feel confident and proud of yourself. It changes your identity and you get that mental identity upgrade because you just proved to yourself that you can do something difficult. So, review past accomplishments, revisit unfinished projects, practice positive self-talk to validate your current actions, revisit achieved goals, reflect on past achievements to trigger dopamine, as dopamine is released in anticipation of repeating rewarding experience. So now you're releasing dopamine in anticipation of a future you doing the right thing. And that's what you want, instead of waiting on yourself to fail. Not even trusting yourself. I know for me, I've said countless times, I'm going to fix this now. I'm going to lose weight now. And then it doesn't happen. It's almost like right when I'm saying it, I don't even believe it. It becomes like a learned helplessness. But once you actually do it, it shifts. Things change. You become a lot more proud of yourself. And you start anticipating. Now, instead of anticipating failure, I'm over here almost 8 pounds down. Now today, I'm anticipating getting to 10 pounds and then 20 and then 30. I'm anticipating that future that I know I'm headed towards now. And I'm telling you, this is such a breakthrough. Complete old projects. Re-engaging with or finally completing projects that your past self started provides a significant sustained dopamine boost. This is what happens, especially when you've prolonged that outcome and you've tried so many times to stick with it, but you just couldn't. Change it today. Go do it now. and see how happy you become. See how much that affects your life. You deserve this. You work hard. Things are difficult. That's why you haven't followed through. Right? It's easier sometimes sometimes you just want that food. Sometimes you just make that choice. Sometimes it's the good times in life where we let our guard down and then we eat the thing anyways. But when you just tell yourself and everyone around you, you make your environment work with you and for you, and then you prove to yourself you can do that. Now you start anticipating, I can be happy around the family and let them eat the popcorn and chocolate and have watermelon instead. You prove to yourself that there's ways around this, and then you become more aware and your identity gets upgraded, and then you're able to sustain that because now you're getting your dopamine from anticipating the good outcome because you understand you can actually do it. And this is where things just start getting better and better, and that's possible for you. But you do need a start. You need a head start, a jump start. For me, momentum was everything. And that's why this 14-day baseline reset that I have that you can get for free in my bio, wherever you're watching this at, is so critical and so important. And you should read that and get on that fast, because that is the one thing you can do that will change your trajectory. This has been the fastest way possible that I know of that can literally change your life and just completely 180 everything. So use your past self as a coach. Our brains produce dopamine in anticipation of future events. By setting up small achievable goals now, a gift to your future self, you are acting as a past self that provides a dopamine generator for the future. Balance with lifestyle. Support this process by ensuring proper sleep, regular exercise, and eating foods high in tyrosine, eggs, nuts, fish, to naturally balance and sustain dopamine levels. I have seen such a huge shift when I sleep correctly. I honestly have been sustaining like 5 hours of sleep. My circadian rhythm is more of a night owl type, and I have 8 a.m. meetings. If you're anything like me, or you're in this difficult situation where it's hard to get sleep, I think that is like above everything. This goes on to say, this approach avoids the dopamine hole where real life stops feeling as rewarding as shallow digital stimulation. So now you're gonna doom scroll to get that dopamine hit because you don't feel like your real life gives it to you. Do this 14-day baseline reset and see which one you want, the doom scroll or your real life. I'm telling you right now, it'll be your real life again. And if you haven't been there in a while and you know that you've been held back because life just got too difficult and you just feel like you're stuck, it's not over for you. You can literally change your life. You can 180 completely. I'm down almost 8 pounds. I couldn't even lose 5 pounds in the last 5 years. I'm telling you, what I just figured out is the truth. There's more than one way to get there, but this way, if you feel like you either late night snack, you do good most of the time, but you sort of mess it up once in a while, and that keeps you at this baseline where you can't really lose weight. You feel like family time gets in the way, or for one reason or another, you know what to do, but you just can't get yourself to do it. This baseline reset will reset everything for you. It's just your baseline is too high. And if you lower that baseline for long enough, just a small, quick little 2-week period, and prove to yourself that you can actually do this, you're going to start this whole snowball effect. And it's just going to be amazing. You will see your whole life transform. It's an ebook. It's in the bio. As soon as you take back control of your life and you do it for a few days and then a couple weeks, your whole life will transform. And don't worry about doing it for 14 days. Do it for 14 hours. Just do it today or tomorrow. Just plan for that. Take it one day at a time, and before you know it, you're at 14 days. And your whole life will be transformed. And all you have to do is a few simple, small, little things. Shift the way you're currently doing things, get your structure in place, lower your baseline, figure out your macros, use this app that I'm literally giving you, not my app, but it's literally free. Weigh in every day, check your progress, actually participate in counting. You don't even have to count. You snap a picture of your food or you scan the barcode of whatever you're eating. It's literally so simple nowadays. The only thing holding you back is you. So once you decide you're going to do this, if you just decide right now, I'm going to do this, well, then you'll do it. In 14 days from now, congratulations. Do you want to do this? Yes? All right, then go get the baseline reset in my bio. Do this for 14 days and come back here. DM me and tell me what happened for you, because I'm not just in this myself alone. I'm doing this for you, right? So if you guys are ready and on this journey with me, let's do it, because the first 14 days is just the reset. That's just the springboard that gives you momentum to get you to where you actually need to go. And I'm right on the cusp of this 14 days being over, and I'm about to springboard into my new future. And it feels amazing because now I have this identity upgrade and I understand the new person that I am, and I have so much more to look forward to. And I want that for you as well, because I don't want it to just be me. Don't let me be the only one with a six-pack 6 months from now. The other thing you're going to notice really quickly is that once you reset your baseline, the same things you were eating before, you'll ask yourself, how how was I even eating this stuff for this long? My family had some cake. They just went and got a cake at the store and I had a slice. I took like 2 bites and my body, I could just tell, did not want it. Whereas before, literally 12 days ago, I would have eaten that whole thing easy. I would have had 2 slices. I couldn't even get through 1 slice anymore because I've been eating so differently and my baseline is so much lower now. I still limited my overall calories because calories are what's most important for weight loss. You do want to make sure you're hitting the right ratio of macros for the most part. So that day I purposely lowered my protein and I still hit my calorie goal. I didn't go above that. And I've still had days where I have gone above. But that day I literally had a couple bites of chocolate cake and I still am on this trajectory of losing weight. The old me would have eaten some cake, let it get out of control, and any progress I had made would get undone real quick. But I'm telling you, resetting your baseline is everything. That's all you need to do. I went from here to here for 2 weeks and I'm almost done with this, and now I'm going to bump it up to here, and that's going to be my new normal, and that's going to be very sustainable, right? This is going to make me feel like I'm eating a lot of food. That brings us to our updates here. Let's check in on what I ate today. I had 13 carbs too many. Not bad. Each carb is 4 calories, so that's about 52 calories extra. I had 4 grams of fat left and I went over by 10 grams of protein, so always good to have some extra protein. I always give myself a little wiggle room there. I was within 38 calories of my total calories, so that's definitely a win today. Let's check the fit index. I am now 220.6, so almost 8 pounds down in about 12 days. I'm telling you guys, if I can do this, you can do this. It is not hard. You just need a structure. You just need a plan. You need to stop giving in to what you feel. Going off of how you feel will never work. But if you declare this to your family that this is what you're doing for the next 14 days, and you tell them, just give me 14 days, just help me out. I'm gonna have these meals, I'm gonna plan this stuff out, or I'm just gonna snap my food as I go, because very quickly you start to realize what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, and you just eat pretty much the same thing over 14 days. I was switching up dinners, but my breakfast and my lunches have been very consistent. There's like Slate protein shakes, there's Fairlife protein shakes. I definitely try to add at least 1, maybe 2 of those daily to hit my protein goals. I have egg whites mixed with an egg. I have turkey bacon, which is a lot of protein and hardly any carbs and fat. I know my meals now. I have a sustainable plan that I usually stick to every day. And then I like to switch it up for dinner time. You can do something like that. But the most important thing is just a few key ingredients, like bringing your macros to a certain level. And it doesn't have to be forever, but it just has to be for a limited amount of time so that you lower your baseline and you reset everything. If you guys want to learn more, feel free to DM me. I'm here to help. It's not just my journey, it's your journey too. I hope you guys are inspired and coming along with me on the ride. Happy to answer any questions. And as always, remember, freedom is possible. Action creates opportunity, and your outer world changes the moment you change on the inside. I'll see you next time.